Yeah.
So talk to us about Shopify, because if I'm not mistaken, you applied 7 times
Yeah.
and got accepted on the 7th time.
Correct.
So where did that grit and resilience come from? Because often you'll apply to a job, you might apply once more in the span of 2 years and the opportunity arises, but 7 times, what were you thinking? Where was your head at?
So I built my store on Shopify. So I love the technology, and I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I love seeing entrepreneurship like change people's lives.
Yeah.
So just at the core, person can't pay bills, starts a t-shirt company, pays bills. I'm like, amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I just went, if I'm going to work 8 hours a day, because I also fundamentally don't believe in the 9 to 5 for 45 years to retire at 65. I have a thing against it.
Yeah.
So I figured I might as well work at a company that doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
That way, it doesn't feel like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I just love what I do.
Yeah.
So Shopify was that company, entrepreneurs building for entrepreneurs with entrepreneurs working inside these entrepreneurship hub, right?
Yeah.
And so I applied the first time I got a referral by one of my mentors, and I go in, I'm like looking at the offices, I'm like, this is insane. I have like a little pitch sheet. I'm like overcompensating because I knew there's no way I was going to get that job.
Yeah.
But I was overcompensating trying to get in. Like, okay, so that didn't work. I'm like bawling my eyes out. Okay, next year, apply again.
And were you applying for the same job?
Same role.
Okay, same
Sales.
role. Yeah.
So same role again. Get in, first interview, second interview, don't make it. Same role, third interview, don't make it. Same role. Like, you know what? After the 4th time, I was like, I'm going to try a new role.
Recruiter's probably like, I'm impressed with this.
Yeah, maybe. Or like, we need to block this guy. So I think the 5th time, I do like, okay, new role, learning management. Like, no. Get rejected right from an email. And then same role again, get rejected, but then get a referral, so I get called. And then don't get it.
Yeah.
And at that point, that 6th time, I remember I was 100% sure I got it.
Wow.
So sure that I went back to my office, I cleaned out my desk, I wiped my laptop down, sanitized it.
I'm going in.
I remember my colleague who left for Shopify like a month later was looking at me like I was crazy. She's filming me, going like, she's actually my co-founder now.
Yeah.
But she's like, this guy. So I'm like, I'm sitting just waiting for the call.
Yeah.
I get the call. She's like, hey, I can't remember what her name was. Hey, have a quick second to talk. I'm like, absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's do this thing.
She's like, I wish I had better news. And I just like, oh my God.
Oh, wow.
And so I go upstairs at work. I'm crying. Like, I'm like, what the heck?
Because you put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah, I'm like, what do I got to do to get into this company? Yeah. So I'm like, I vow I will never apply to Shopify again. I'm not working for them. They don't deserve me.
Yep.
And that was like a week or 2 before my wedding.
Wow.
So I was like devastated. So 2020 comes around and I'm about to go to bed. I'm on LinkedIn and I was like scrolling and I see a post that says Shopify, we're still hiring, because that was pandemic, right? And people were shutting down, people were losing jobs. Like, let's see what they have. And I go in and I saw the sales roles and I saw a merchant success manager. I'm like, oh, what's that? Never heard of that role.
Yeah.
And I look at it like, that's my dream.
Yeah.
Like,
it's basically talking to entrepreneurs all day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. That's the one. I was applying to the wrong one. So I call my friend at Shopify. I'm like, dude, I got to apply right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, build your resume. I built the resume in 20 minutes. I sent it over to him. I was like, this is what I want you to say about me. And it was like, Tobi's this entrepreneur and this, and this. I get a call back in 8 hours. Like, amazing. I get a first interview, skip me past the second stage, third interview, fourth interview, and then 12 days later, we're making you an offer.
Wow.
It's like, I just started crying. She's like,
I was going to say, what was going through your head?
No, she calls me. She's like, hey, we're making you an offer. I was like, oh my God. And my wife's like right beside me working. And I'm like smiling. And then she tells me what the offer is. And I just start crying. I'm like bawling. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, just keep going. And she's telling me.
Wow.
And I call my parents. I'm like, I got in, like at the Shopify. And they were like, what's the role? I was like, merchant success manager. And all my parents heard was manager. And he's like, you're a manager at Shopify. I think they went around like, he's a manager. No, it's okay. So it was pretty surreal. I called my like friends that knew that I'd applied all this time.
Yeah.
And I got it. And they were like, whoa, you like applied again?
So great things happen after the moment where you're willing to, where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to give up. This is
Yes.
it. This is the peak bottom.